I would rather deep throat a tactical ballistic missile than ever fight Vesper again. This is not exaggeration. Before I continue, thank you? Holy, I didn't even know how to expect this. I'm gonna address this at the end of the video so I don't clock time now and force you to sit through it. Let's get on the meat of the video. Vesper. I had a different idea that I was gonna talk about for a video, but this boss is so ridiculous that I must talk about it first. First of all, let's just go through the bullet points that I wrote down. Vesper is not an anomaly boss if you don't have Arya. If you have Arya, you're gonna be able to clear this boss with an anomaly team as intended. Otherwise, most people will not be able to clear this boss unless they have one of two things. First is Vivienne. Vivienne is the only solution outside of Arya to this boss. No one else can fight this boss. Second is vertical investment. Aside from Vivienne's superpowers, vertical investment is the only way for you to clear this boss correctly. Otherwise, you're stuck with Yusheng Wang like the rest of us peasants. Literally, I've never found myself fighting a boss in a form that was counterintuitive before. Unless it was a new mechanic, mind you. For example, when Rupture was first introduced, nobody had Rupture units. You couldn't just pop a Rupture out of nowhere, so you most likely used an attacker to be able to clear the first Deadly Assault or shield defense boss we got. And that's reasonable. You had literally nothing else. And mind you, I will be talking about this later. Back then, even the newer stuff was clearable with a different archetype than intended. It was not necessarily easy, but it was sure clearable. Before we get to that though, I want to talk about something. And listen, I pride myself on objectivity for this channel. That's my main goal. And I've made a rule with myself. If I'm ever going to be biased, I need to tell you beforehand that I'm going to be biased. So this might be a biased take. And if that's the case, apologies for that. But I need to point this out. You have buffed Bernice only for the next two bosses to be fire resistant. What are we doing? What is the point of a buff if you're just going to slap a resistance on the boss and say, nah, that's not for you today. In fact, that's never for you, bum. I just don't understand what the end game here is. Is the buff just for shits and giggles? I mean, it looks like it. And by the way, every time they slap an ice resistance on any of these bosses, you affect Ellen, another buffed unit. I can't use her. Sure, I shouldn't be using her here to begin with, but anytime you slap ice resistance on a boss, I can't use him. You need to find a way to deal with Miyabi that is not just nobody gets to play. Same for Hugo, by the way. He did not get a buff, but you just can't lock the guy out. You can't play him anywhere. And like Kanto, he got a buff, but you know, it's a part of the Hugo debacle. Okay, let's continue past Bernice. What are the problems with this boss? Why are people complaining about this boss? In my opinion, we gotta go in order, and the first thing to go about is the speediness of this boss. See, I've never complained about boss mechanics before. I always thought, you know what, this is a skill check. Aside from team building check, it's a skill check, you gotta do what you gotta do. But this is the first time where I gotta talk about the speediness of this boss. If you're gonna use an anomaly team, you're not catching up. Miyabi's enhanced basic attack is not catching up. That goes triple for Alice's enhanced basic attack. Holy, I don't want to try Alice in this boss. I don't. I want to get footage, but I don't want to try Alice for this boss because I know it's going to be miserable to try to catch up to it with Alice's horrible tracking. If Miyabi cannot catch up to it, Alice is not doing it. And those are top 2 anomaly DPSs, mind you. I just don't understand what they were thinking by making an anomaly boss that just dashes all around. Like I mentioned earlier, Vivienne is your really the only solution you have against this boss because it's the only thing that can emulate Arya to a certain degree, and the other one that can emulate it is Bernice. But guess what? Resistant to fire for some reason. And you could try Grace, you could, but you're just better off not using Anomaly like the rest of us. They also, and you know, this is the part where I find coming in my previous video, which thank you again. In my previous video, someone pointed out, oh no, you can use Ether Veil. They gave us an Ether Veil unit. Yeah, but it cannot fit in an anomaly team. The devs are acting dense on purpose. They're like, I don't know, I gave you one. Yeah, you gave me Zhao, an attack buffer at best, which is really slow, just not worth the wait, not worth anything. And you cannot slap her on an anomaly team. Actually, you can't just slap Suna on an anomaly team. She just doesn't fit right on an anomaly team. You can't fight with Ether Veil and an anomaly team. It's one or the other up until you get Arya or you get the full Idols team. Now, I thought, you know what? I've never seen shilling like this before. This is actually bad. This is really, really bad shilling. So I wanted to look through the other bosses, the other Deadly Assault bosses we got, and I wanted to see, have we had this happen before? Did this happen? Maybe this happened and I'm just, I don't know, ignorant to it. So let's just go through the bosses that I can remember, and I have a website open, but I feel like it's missing someone, so apologies in advance. Let's just start with Miasma Priest. honest, Miasma Priest has always been a glass cannon, not to mention that Miasma Priest's mechanics do not take too much time and are very rewarding. At some point, I was actually able to clear through the boss, obviously with the Rupture team, before I could even execute the mechanics properly, and it was causing me more trouble with the points than good, actually. But what I'm trying to say is, the boss is not bad. Miasma Priest is very, very easy to clear through, even without a Rupture unit. But assume the worst, with a free Rupture unit like Monoto, you can absolutely breeze through Miasma Priest. Next is Miasmic Fiend, and Miasmic Fiend was not that bad, especially with the drop of Alice and her team with Yuzuha as well. Miasmic Fiend is very, very doable. It's on the higher end when it comes down to wasting your time with its mechanic, but it's not the worst. We've seen worse, I promise you. It's coming up. Once again, very reasonable boss. Next up is Wandering Hunter. This is the part where we start entering that defense territory, where the boss is a little bit more tanky, and you really want to use a Rupture unit. The boss mechanic is not that hard. The only time I've seen people mess it up is when they're trying to be quick about it. It's a very easy, very quick boss mechanic, does not take that long. Easy to detect, I think that's the best part as well. You know it's coming when those 2 minutes run out. No matter what you're doing with this boss, 2 minutes, it's out. He's going. Again, reasonable boss. I've cleared it before without a Rupture team. As actually seen in this run, I cleared it with Miyabi, so it's very doable. Okay, the Thrall, Sobek, this is the territory where we enter a little annoying, right? A lot of mechanics happening at once, a lot of specific mechanics for the boss where you parry, bam, bam, bam. You run after him, he runs after you. It's a long chase. You get points, but by that point, 5,000 points are really not enough for that boss. Clearly designed for Yusheng Guang, by the way, but it was reasonable in my opinion. I cannot see it here, and I don't want to continue without talking about it, so we're gonna talk about it. The Defiler. The Defiler, all of us were speculating with the Defiler, oh, who's this physical weakness for? Obviously, it's a physical DPS, an attacker, and we were right, clearly. Like, nobody predicted it would be this bad with Yusheng Guang, but people knew, right? Because the electric was Sambi, the electric was Seed, the electric was already secured for even Harumasa to a certain degree. Physical, who is it, right? Now we know. The Defiler has long mechanics. This is the one who reigns supreme above them all. I'm not sure if it takes longer than the Thrall overall. Chances are it is, because with the Thrall you can actually stop the mechanic by breaking the miasma field. So if you do manage to do damage to the miasma field enough, by the time that you start parrying, you actually cut it midway. You don't have to sit through it. That is not the case with the Defiler. You're gonna sit through those mechanics. The Defiler has, what, 3 invulnerability moments? You're gonna sit through those, and they waste probably a minute and a half, if not more. Okay, maybe not more, but a minute and a half. I would say it's up to a minute and a half. Very annoying boss when it comes down to the Defiler, but it was doable. It's also not a Rupture boss, it's an attack boss, so I'll give it a pass. Primordial Nightmare was the introduction of that parry, and also clearly the introduction of one weakness, which is something I was going to talk about. One weakness, 2 resistances. Up until this point, it was actually the opposite. 2 weaknesses, 1 resistance. And I don't think that's a necessity or anything. I could have taken 1 weakness, 1 resistance, but for some reason they decided to introduce this 1 weakness, 2 resistances thing, which factors in with Vesper. But unlike Primordial Nightmare, Vesper is unfair. Let's continue with Primordial Nightmare first. Primordial Nightmare had that parry mechanic, which a lot of people were complaining about, but I thought, no, it's not that bad. People are exaggerating their complaints. It's a little delayed. That's why people were complaining. With Vesper, it's actually the exact opposite. You cannot parry when it glows. You actually have to parry beforehand. You see her, you parry. It's really stupid. I don't know why they would misalign the parry window when it comes down to Vesper. Whatever, I guess. It's just an exhausting fight overall. Nobody is enjoying this. What I'm trying to point out here, and I hope I did not forget any boss we got introduced with 2.x, is first of all, 1 weakness, 1 resistance is one thing here. We have it with Miasma Priest, but at the very least, it was that, and usually it was 2 weaknesses, 1 resistance, 2 weaknesses, 1 resistance. Suddenly, they flipped the script to 1 weakness, 2 resistances, and not just that, at least when it came down to Primordial, you had a physical DPS that just dropped. You could work away from Ice and Ether. With Vesper, there's no anomaly team that has Ether, but Vivienne, and away from Vivienne, that's it. And not just that, they locked Ice and Fire, so you can't use Miyabi, obviously. It's not even a fight suited for Miyabi. You can't use Miyabi, nor can you use Bernice. What is this boss? I don't get it. I don't understand this boss. I cannot use a Bloom anywhere unless I have Vivienne, and aside from Vivienne, Bernice is soft locked. Actually, hard locked even. I don't think that's a soft lock. I just don't understand what they were thinking with this boss. Clearly, and I've brought this up I think in the previous video and other videos before I've talked about this, they know the Angels of Delusion will sell, right? They know they will sell. I don't think we should expect shilling like this to happen soon until they show us another flagship unit that they put in all the types of sales into, right? Think your Miyabis, your Yishuans, your Yushengwongs, Syreans, you know what I'm talking about. This is probably not gonna happen again, for a while anyways. I've seen a lot of people talking about how the angels are not selling. Okay, let's just get this little segment out of here. Please don't use Sensor Tower as your reference. We've been shown before that Sensor Tower is biased. We've been shown before that Sensor Tower likes to favor Hoyoverse games, but the ones they like. It's a literal Genshin Impact cult with Sensor Tower. Why are you using it? Aside from that, Sensor Tower is mobile data. Genshin Impact is a very mobile-friendly game. Star Rail is a mobile-friendly game. Zenless is not. Most players are on PC. Same applies for Wuthering Waves. At some point, they were also showing low numbers for Wuthering Waves. We saw that they were actually editing those numbers, but aside from that, it's not a mobile game. It is available for mobile, and you should look at the mobile revenue. It's just not a mobile game. Same applies for Zenless. Triple that right now with Vesper. Who the hell is fighting Vesper on mobile? Don't do this to yourself. Bring a little laptop, play on low settings, and fight this boss and suffer like the rest of us. Don't go through worse, please. What I'm trying to say is, Sunan was definitely made numbers. Arya will make numbers. I just saw someone yesterday, M6er. These angels will sell. They debuted way before this game dropped, right? Everybody had their eyes on these angels for the longest time. So they will make money, and the devs know that. The devs know that so much now. Like, I've talked about this in the previous video, right? The patterns with Hoyoverse. They know now. They know what's gonna sell, and they're confident with it. They stride in the fight. They're like, we know what's happening. So they go all in when it comes down to these units. Anytime you see a gacha animation for these units, no, they're gonna make money. They're gonna make a whole lot of money, and they're not afraid of showing that they're willing to invest in these units, right? I just had to talk about this. Like I said, this is not happening again anytime soon, in my opinion, if my understanding of the way they work is right. It's gonna take a while. However, there could be a slight exception. Since Nongong is not out yet, chances are they might release another Deadly Assault boss. And in that case, if it's an idol configured boss where it requires the idols, yeah, it's happening. It's absolutely happening. They will not hold back. In fact, if there's a time to release 2 overpowered bosses, it's now. I'm not saying they should do it. I'm not saying they should. Don't lump me in this. I'm just saying, if they're gonna do it, now is the time to do it. Horrible boss. I dislike it. Hoyoverse, I will eat that tactical ballistic missile. It will go up to my rectum. I'm not kidding. Alright, from this point onward, I'm going to be talking about the channel. You can skip here. Do not sit through anymore because YouTube ads have been horrible, and if I could, I would turn them off, I promise you. First of all, thank you. Thank you so much for all the people who sat down, watched through my video of me mumbling as I'm like kind of exhausted. As I mentioned at the beginning, I was fasting in that video. I was fasting while recording this video. I was a little tired. Before I uploaded this video, I believe I was just at 10 subscribers. And I want to tell a little bit of a small story. I promise I will try not to take too much time. And again, if you don't want to listen to this mumble rumble outro, I have a main YouTube channel, or like a main YouTube account. It's not a channel, I don't post anything there. It's my main YouTube account, I watch videos there, right? This is just for posting and keeping up with other content creators and such. So I have a main account, and sorry, I'm finding it funny that I'm retelling this story this early in my, if I want to call it, career. I have a main account, and on that main account, I have 2 subscribers. You could ask me, why? You don't post content, right? Yes, I do not post content there. I don't know where I got those 2 subscribers from. The only thing I do is post comments on that account, on like my favorite videos, interesting videos, whatever it is. Like anybody, right? And I'm guessing 2 people subscribed to me because of my comments. Okay, sure. And I remember when I started this channel, I was like, man, could I ever get more than those 2 subscribers that I have on my main channel for doing nothing? So when I saw those 10, as I was uploading the power creep patterns video, as I saw those 10 subscribers, I was like, wow, I made it. Now, it's a very small goal, and it's not really the goal of all time, but it is more than I had expected. Because I don't know if anybody did this before. You should look at when I started this channel versus when I first uploaded. It took a while. It took me a while. I was reserved. I had microphone issues, which sometimes still seep in. I'm still trying to work it out. Apologies about the microphone quality. Someone actually pointed this out to me as I was recording this, and it kind of hit my ego. I was like, oh no, I thought I fixed it. I'm sorry, I'm really working on it. It's a little difficult for me, a bit technical. I won't get into the matters, but I had microphone issues. First time in my life editing this way. If you check my channel, you're gonna see I have a TikTok and I post edits there. In the past, I actually used to post AMVs and edits and all that. I was a nerdy kid growing up. I still am. So I'm used to that type of editing. I'm not used to long form editing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just freestyling it, right? I'm freestyling along as I go. You look at my first thumbnail. I literally don't know what I'm doing. I had no idea how to make a thumbnail. And then I managed to post that video. Horrible audio quality, really quiet, maybe a little bit cringe. I don't know. I managed to finally put that video out. It took me almost a month later to post the next video, which was not planned. I was actually working on the State of the Meta Zenlesszonezero video first, and then the Hoyoverse stuff happened with the Game Awards, and I was like, you know what, I gotta talk about this. This is something I've always had in mind. I wanted to talk about this. So I did it first, then I posted that video next, the State of the Meta. You can also tell that I've changed my way I title stuff. I just kind of wrote words. I was like, YouTube algorithm, it got it, right? As of right now, 44 subscribers. I jumped from 10 to 44. Thank you all so much. I'll try to always respond to all the comments I get. There are actually a lot. You know, I always saw those big channels. I was like, wow, why do they never respond, man? Respond to everybody. It's not that hard. It is. It is pretty hard. It is pretty hard. There's comments coming out from nowhere. I go to sleep, I wake up, 9+ on that indicator. I'm like, oh no, it's time to sit through it. And it's not that I don't want to. I appreciate every comment. I want to talk to all of you. This is the purpose of this channel. I want to talk to people, put my ideas out there, hear your feedback, right? It's just that it's a little overwhelming. I appreciate everybody who sat through and watched my content. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to dish out more content at shorter intervals. My aim is usually between 3 to 7 days, but I feel like 7 is a little too much, so I aim for 5 most of the time. Hopefully I can do it within 3 days next time, because it would mean more videos. I want to put out more videos. Thank you all so much for watching, for liking, for sitting through it all. I hope I can make more content to bring my main objective into the gacha space, which is objectivity. I'm not a robot, okay? I'm a regular person. I have bias, I have feelings, I have all things like you. But I feel like we lack objectivity in this community. All of it, all of the community. Forget Hoyoverse, forget Wuthering Waves and Kuro Games, forget all of this. The entire space lacks objectivity. The one example that really set out to me and that made me make that my goal was whenever people would ask, hey, should I get this unit? And people would go, yeah, you should get it if you like it. Well, obviously, yeah, you know, obviously, if you like a unit, you should get it. But this person is not asking because they want you to validate their likeness to this unit. They're asking because they want to know, is this a good investment? If I put effort into this unit, if I put time into this unit, is this worth it? I don't want to put work in here and lose value on it. Usually within Hoyoverse space where power creep is a little rampant, right? For Star Rail, for example. And I would always say this, I was like, guys, this guy does not want you to stroke their likeness to the unit. They want you to help them understand. And this is what was like my trigger to starting this channel and make that my goal. I'm gonna be making a channel video where like I introduce what I'm gonna do. And I guess I should talk about it right now. I want to make gaming content, not just gacha. Now, will I be making gaming content the way I do gacha content? No, it's going to be very minimal, most likely. Not a lot of content when it comes down to gaming. But I'm not a gacha gamer. I am a gamer. I began my life playing video games on a PS1. I want to talk about video games. I want to play video games. I want to discuss my interests. Gachas, they're great. There's a lot you can milk with gachas. But I don't want to milk content. I don't want to be a same Tontas type of person. I don't want to be like how Tectone was in his earlier Genshin days, where he would milk the community. I want to make content that I find authentic, and I want to make content that I enjoy. So I think what I'm trying to say is, thank you. Outro. ¡Majoraga! 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 ¡Maldita sea! ¡No traje condones! ¡Majoraga!